Hello there, and welcome to our webinar. Today's topic is PointPerfect, which is the Ublox GNSS augmentation service. We have a full agenda, so let's get started. First, some introductions. That's me on the right, Patty Feltz. I am in product marketing for Ublox Services and will be the moderator for today's webinar. On the far left is my colleague, Franco De Lorenzo. He will be our primary speaker and is the product owner of the PointPerfect service. In the center is Hamed Siasi. He is solution architect, and today we will hear from him to provide a demonstration for getting started in the PointPerfect service and the cloud platform interface. For our agenda, Franco will discuss the market and its opportunities, an overview of PointPerfect as a service, a discussion about Thingstream. So Thingstream is the u-blox IoT service delivery platform, MQTT, a protocol that we use to deliver the message stream. And then again, we'll hear from Hamed for getting started. We will make time for questions and answers, so please put them into the GoToWebinar interface, enter your questions. Just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded, and you will receive a copy of that recording tomorrow automatically in email. If you would like a PDF copy of the presentation, you may request it. Just send me a note or put in the chat in the question bar, and we'll get you a PDF. Feel free to ask questions. We'll get to them at the end. And some, if we're not able to get to them, we will have them recorded and we will get back to you in writing. So let's proceed. You may know Ublox as offering solutions that are essential for applications in the Internet of Things, that being wireless communication via cellular networks through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, as well as our satellite-based positioning chips and modules. So here in our services product center, we are striving to combine our services with our products to enhance their functionality and improve their quality of service in challenging conditions, and really to solve problems of complexity, cost, availability. Our services portfolio has 3 essential product groups. They are shown here. They reside within communication as a service, location, and security. And the red box there, we're really going to center in today for our webinar around location as a service, and specifically augmentation and correction. So with that, we will hand over to you, our primary speaker, Franco.
Thank you, Patty, and hello from me as well, and welcome to the webinar. So I think as a first slide, we'll probably have a look at what the market evolution in high precision GNSS in a nutshell has been in the past couple of decades. There is originally at the beginning we had like a very geodetic grade GNSS receivers, and with high precision GNSS receiver and high precision correction service, they were used for specific applications, especially for professional use, and they were developed and tailored to professional applications. But then, of course, with more accessible and affordable high precision solutions came, for instance, with the new breed of receivers, like let's say the Ublox F9P, for instance, in the last couple of years. Then you have multi-GNSS receivers that have entered the high precision domain, and therefore there start to be more opportunities to deliver high precision application solutions to different applications, which makes them more, let's say, accessible and affordable. And then, of course, the next step in this evolution is really to make high precision a mass market proposition for different application. And that means that what we strive to do is to provide solution to several million of devices that can benefit from having a more affordable, even more affordable, more accessible solution, and to evolve further the high precision GNSS market. So if we look at some of the applications, and this is by no means a comprehensive list, but it just gives some ideas, we can see that there are several applications that can benefit from having high precision GNSS. We can, of course, with the high precision GNSS, we improve the absolute position accuracy. We have faster data convergency to get down to the wanted accuracy. We can increase the efficiency and the scale of operations, and we can enable new emergency use cases. And here you can see what the list of some of the application, the interesting application we see, from the UAV, which is maybe already been there for quite some time, to, for instance, the specialty vehicles like share micromobility, for instance, and of course service robots and machinery and automotive clearly, and also precision agriculture. At this point, I think we'll have a poll.
Yes, so we will launch a poll to ask you what's on your mind. So the first poll is, let's launch it here. If you're planning to implement a high precision solution application in the next 12 to 24 months, which would that be? So please select. I see, yes, you're answering and responding. Select which one you're targeting or thinking to target. And we'll just give a few seconds for the responses to come in, and then I will share what the audience has selected. All right, we'll close the poll and let's see. All right, so it looks like a slim majority, or most, are looking at precision agriculture or heavy machinery. We saw that in the other session this morning, followed by unmanned aerial vehicles, ground vehicles, automotive, and micro mobility. All right, very interesting. Back to you, Franco.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk then a little bit in more details about PointPerfect. So one of the things that we intend to do, of course, with delivering a service such as PointPerfect is, first of all, to achieve a high degree of scalability. Now, if we look at the, let's say, traditional RTK correction services, the way they work is that each rover sends a position, and then the service will return back with a stream which is dedicated specifically to that rover to enhance the positioning of that device. However, with a service like PointPerfect, which is an SSR and then is a PPP RTK type of service, is possible to just broadcast a set of augmentation data that will enable the receiver to actually do those corrections, and without sending its position back to the service. That allows us to have actually a single outbound broadcast stream for all the rovers which are located in certain regions or certain continents, to be more specific. That makes it much more scalable in terms of the ability to deliver, and also enables us to use different delivery mechanisms. They're just not limited to the IP stream, which would be one of the, for instance, constraints by using an RTK type of service. So if we look at how the, in general, high performance augmentation services are working, like, we can see that there is a rover somewhere that is receiving some data from the satellites, and he's having some position. At the same time, we receive the data on our network reference station data and data stations, and then we create what we call the augmentation service, which is Spartan, and then we're able to deliver those corrections using IP and, for instance, global network like cellular or satellite like Lband satellites to the rovers, and bring down the position down to less than 10 centimeters. PointPerfect comes in two main offerings, one which we call the service to device, and the other one which we call the service to service. The idea behind this is to accommodate two different requirements from customers. On the let's say service to device, which is the one on the blue, under the blue column, basically there is a license model that is individual devices or pool of multiple devices. And the package is the delivery package. So what is that actually is delivered is a bundle of monthly correction minutes. And we'll see later what that means when we have the different tiers and pricing. The invoicing is going to be recurring, or the subscription is basically monthly, and the service format is Spartan. The delivery mechanism is IP and Lband, and the IP delivery protocol is MQTT. Now, traditionally, as you know, the correction services have been delivered over different protocol, which is called Entropy, which was dedicated protocol designed for RTK type of services. However, due to the fact that we have an MQTT platform, which is Thingstream, and also due to the nature actually of the correction data, we decided to change and use a different protocol. We'll talk a little bit more about MQTT later. Then on the PointPerfect service-to-service offering, the licensing model is dedicated to the enterprise. Here, the idea is that there is an OEM or an enterprise customer that is in the need of a correction stream for multiple devices and for different reasons. For instance, for security. They don't want the device to connect directly to our service. Then we offer this service-to-service option, which has a package which, instead of being based on monthly correction minutes, is based on a total fleet volume. And the subscription is still monthly or even annual. The service format is still going to be Spartan, and the delivery mechanism is still going to be IP and Lband. But the IP delivery protocol in this case can be a different type of protocol depending on the backend from the customer. In this scenario, we deliver the IP service mainstream directly into the service into the customer backend, and then we also deliver the Lband service in addition to the IP if so required. When we look at the specification of the service, here we can see that there is, first of all, that we have at the moment planned for 3 GNSS signal support, so GPS, Chronos, and Galileo, and you can see what are the signals at the moment that were going to be supported. The horizontal accuracy is between 3 and 6 centimeters. The initialization time is less than 30 seconds. And then coverage is Europe and contiguous United States. We'll talk a bit more. We'll talk more a bit later about the coverage. Very important, the data rate for the continental stream is 2,400 bits per second, and we also intend to offer that with the reduced bandwidth option to further reduce the data bandwidth requirement, which is one of the key, which we believe is one of the key things when come to the adoption of this kind of services. And the standard correction rate is 5 seconds, so we deliver a new message every 5 seconds. And then, as we discussed, when it comes to the communication methods, the distribution over internet is over MQTT, and the satellite distribution is on Lband for EU and US at the moment. So if you look at a summary of the key customer benefits for PointPerfect, we can see that yes, there is high accuracy and 3 to 6 centimeter accuracy. There is high reliability and availability because, of course, of the redundancy of the service. So we have internet and also Lband. Therefore, it's always possible to deliver the service in using one or the other method. There is an homogeneous continental coverage. Therefore, there is the same level of service in US and Europe and in every region that we cover by the service. This is very important because there is no fragmentation when it comes to the quality of the corrections. There is seamless integration because since we also manufacture our own receivers, it is very integrated with our positioning hardware, as well with also the providers that we have, the other hardware that we have, and it's frictionless for business. Therefore, it is intuitive. The IoT platform that comes with Thingstream is very well designed, and there is also a very flexible plans that suit the needs of basically most of the needs of customers. And then, of course, one of the most important thing as well is the low bandwidth and the Spartan format brings with it. So Spartan is an open format, and it is really a lower bandwidth compared to other kind of similar services, and it really reduces the transmission costs. And when we look at just a few words about the Spartan format, so it is a low bandwidth format. It is an open format which is being developed in conjunction with other players in the industry. It is intentionally created to support accuracy use cases, and it is developed really from ground up for high scalability and for the needs of the mass market applications. And of course, as I said, is optimized for bandwidth usage to reduce the bandwidth requirements, reduce the transmission costs. Here we have a look at what is the current availability of the system. So at the moment, we're offering PointPerfect in the contiguous USA and in Europe, and you can see there's a couple of exceptions, as a couple of small islands in the Mediterranean and some of the offshore US territories and the Hawaii in the US. It also available up to 22 kilometers off the coastline, so it's also good for nearshore applications and nearshore marine applications. We continuously develop the network. A couple of days ago, we had an announcement of an MOU with SoftBank in Japan to have a mutual exchange of data to be able to offer the service also in the region. We have a 99.9 uptime, and it's really backed by warranty, and also we offer an SLA that has the KPIs that are needed to reinforce this claim. And we also have redundant communications, we said, so it's internet plus Lband. And then, of course, we have multiple data centers that allows us to have full redundancy and eliminate all possible downtimes. Okay, next we will have a quick look at Thingstream platform. I will not spend very much time, however, just give the few key points of what the Thingstream platform brings with. So basically, Thingstream is a cloud-based delivery platform, and there is also an administration interface, and it is targeted for enterprise IoT services. As you can see here, there are several very important points. So it is an enterprise-grade level platform which supports really a billion of messages. It has a very nice visual data flow manager which allows basically visual programming within the platform itself. It is basically possible to process and transform the data which is coming into the platform. That means it's possible to build very complex logic based, for instance, on different triggers and different conditions that might happen with regards to the data that is that the platform is receiving. There is also an easy connection and managing of all the OT devices, including APIs and also other online services. It means also that it integrates with a lot of other leading cloud platforms. For instance, there are interfaces with Watson and Azure and Google and so on and so forth. There are flexible plans as well, as we discussed, so it's all self-managed. Therefore, whenever you create or whenever a customer create a new thing into the platform and assign a plan, is fully self-managed. So it means that you can also change the plans whenever the business condition changes or the requirement changes. We'll see later what it means also in specific of PointPerfect. And of course, it's one-stop solution, so we deliver all the Ublox IoT communication, security, and location services through the same platform. And I think the next one is a poll again. Paddy, to you.
Yes, thank you. So this will be our second time to poll the audience. We'll have this one and one more. So let's get it launched. If you're considering your application, what is the expected monthly usage for GNSS augmentation service? Maybe an hour daily average, 1 to 4 hours daily, or continuous operation, or something else. So we're curious to know if you have a view of what your monthly usage might be. Please enter your selection. I see them coming in. We'll give a few more moments just to allow most votes to come in. All right, and thank you. So I will now close the poll and share the results. So at Franco, it looks like most are looking at a continuous operation, followed by 30 to 120 hours a month. That's 1 to 4 hours daily, and then 1 hour daily and other. I think we also saw similar in this morning's session.
Yes, that's correct. That's true. Okay. Okay, let's move on then to the pricing models. One of the things that we're trying to do, again, with all our services, actually not just with PointPerfect, is to really keep the pricing model as simple as possible. So also for PointPerfect, we have a similar approach, and we have basically 4 basic plans, which are probably satisfying most of the business requirement for our customers. So first thing is we offer a full 24/7 service based on monthly subscription with Lband for Lband and IP, and here the service is accessible on both media. So what you design, you will have an IP connection, you will have an Lband receiver, and it's possible to use the service either from IP or Lband on 24/7. Another model that we offer is only Lband. In this case, it's still a 24/7 service with monthly subscription. In this case, the service is an Lband. However, the key exchange happens over IP. So even for an Lband only solution, the rover needs to have, or the device needs to have a connectivity to global network in order to receive the keys whenever the key changes. Then there is a similar 24/7 service for IP only. Also in this case, we have monthly subscriptions, but service and keys are delivered over IP. And then the last one, which is the IP hourly based. In this case, we've pooled or device-based plans, which are based on pay-as-you-go model, so basically our plans. And these, again, the services and the keys are both delivered over IP. If you look at the prices here, these are for the monthly subscription, basically for the full service, and here you can see there are different monthly prices depending on the units that are active at any given time. One thing which is very important to keep in mind is that you can always mix individual device plans on the same domain. So let's say that you have 500 devices and 200 devices can be on a plan and the other 300 can be on another plan. That is perfectly okay. And the renewal date always starts from the recurrence of the plan purchase. So if it was on the 10th of the month, then the 10th of the month is when the renewal date, the renewal date will run from. And one of the things that's very important is that the way we do this is that we count the devices that are in the active state in the pool plan window. That means that, okay, if let's say as an example, you started the plan on the 10th, we will start counting from the 10th of this month to the 9th of the following month, whatever are the active devices, and the invoice will run based on those active devices. So if the following month there's going to be a different amount of devices, then there's going to be a different invoice generated, and also the price will dynamically adjust based on the volume of the devices. And that's very important to keep in mind. That offers a lot quite good flexibility, and also makes sure that if as a customer you increase the amount of device, you can benefit already from better prices as soon as you move to the higher tiers. So there's no need to renegotiate the prices basically. And as I said, it's all self-served. If you look at the, can you go back to the one, please? Yeah, thank you. So if you look at these IP-only hourly devices, as I said, we have two different plans. One is based on the device plan, per device plan, and that means that basically this is targeted to the kind of application where the number of devices is predictable, and also the consumption is quite predictable. So in this case, we might say, okay, I have X devices in the field, and I think that they will consume between, on average, actually, of 4 hours per day. Then it will fall into the 120 hours, so it will be the second tier, and the price will be $6.80 per month per device, plus the 5.5 cents per hour average. This is a good plan when as I said, the amount of devices is predictable, and also the consumption per device is fairly predictable. But this is not always the case. In most of the cases, what actually will happen is that you might have a fleet which has a certain amount of devices, rovers, but you're not sure which rover will consume how much and during which period. So it's basically much more, let's say, complicated to do this kind of estimation. For that, we created these pool plans, which are per fleet. So we don't really necessarily, let's say, take into account the number of devices that are into the system, but only the hours that this device consume. For instance, you can have 1,000 devices, 10,000 devices, and all these 10,000 devices will share a pool of hours of service. Therefore, if you buy, let's say, the 350,000 hours, then you pay $19,000 per month, or 5.6 cents per additional hour average, and all those 350,000 hours can be shared amongst all the devices which are in the fleet. If we go ahead, I have an example that will tell you, for instance, how this would work in a different, maybe more practical application. For instance, let's say that an e-scooter sharing companies has a fleet of 15,000 scooters, and the average usage is about 2,000 scooters are in use every day, and an average of 2 hours, and you cannot say exactly which scooter will be used next or when. However, the expected usage can be calculated to be around 125,000 per hour per month. So purchasing the 100,000 plans plus the average will set the price of the monthly service to 8,000 per month. And you could say that, okay, the price per active scooter, if you take the 2,000 scooters are using, is $4 per month. However, the actual true price is per own scooters only 54 cents. Because anyway, that is like the with respect to the overall fleet. This is just an example, of course. The numbers might not be exactly with those of a true usage model, but anyway, this is the idea. So in this kind of applications, you always have the possibility to manage the large fleets without having to have a per device type of plan, not as a monthly, not as a fixed subscription, nor as an hour subscription, but use just the pool of hours. Okay, finally, just a word about MQTT. So, as I said, initially, we decided to really invest in developing the service and deliver it over MQTT. There are several reasons for this. one of the things is it's very cost efficient. Well, first of all, before we get into details, maybe of these four items here, the nature of the augmentation service, and I call them augmentation service with a little bit of difference compared to the RTK typical correction service, is really not serialized. It is more like a set of messages. So it's not a data stream similar to video streaming. So it is possible to consider each message independently. And that's where MQTT becomes more efficient, because MQTT is a protocol that is being developed to deliver messages, not to deliver streams. So we really consider that this is a big advantage and allows us to be in, first of all, it's more cost efficient, and that means that also for our customer, it is possible to have a better cost, a better fees, and a better price. It is easy to integrate because MQTT clients basically are almost in every software stack, in cellular modem and also other type of communication devices such as Wi-Fi modules. So there is no need for integrating a third party, for instance, client for the communication. It is secure by design because it can use TLS already built in. So therefore, there is a very simple way to configure and provision the devices, especially through our platform, where you just download the client certificate and install them into the device, and that can be done also over an API, and that means that you don't really have to do this provisioning manually. Just download the certificate using an API and install them at your manufacturing facilities, for instance, directly. And of course, it's scalable, so it's very easy to broadcast the same message to 1 million of devices. And as we discussed earlier, since the devices in same regions or same continent will use basically the same augmentation data, this makes it very, very efficient in terms of delivery as well, and very scalable. I think next we have another poll.
Yes, thank you, Franco. This will be our last poll, and we're interested to hear what you think. Let's launch it. What would you say is the biggest challenge with implementing a high-precision GNSS application? Do you think it's the GNSS augmentation service cost itself, the receiver cost, the complexity of the design and deployment of the service, or it's really its availability in your market or your region, or maybe something else? What is your biggest challenge? I see folks are entering their response. We'll give it just a few more seconds to gather the answers and see the result. All right, and here we will close the poll, and let me share the responses. Franco, it looks like here it's the complexity of the design and deployment of the service is what's on people's minds as their biggest challenge.
Yes.
Followed by availability.
Yes, I think we saw similar results also in the morning webinar. Yeah. Thank you everybody for answering. I think the next section, Patty, do you want to introduce that? Okay, so next session we're going to have the getting started demo video.
Yes, thanks. I was on mute. All right, let me launch this video. This is Hamed showing how to get started. Let's see if I can get this going.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Hamed Siasi, Ublox Services Solution Architecture Team. And in the coming 10 minutes, I would like to show you how you can evaluate PointPerfect service. Actually, it's quite easy and straightforward and should not take you more than 10 minutes to evaluate the system. Finally, we are going to take a look at our documentation as well. Well, the first step is signing up to Thingstream Ublox Services Delivery Platform. So portal.thingstream.io. If you don't have an account, you can easily create an account. It will send you an email to do the validation of your email address and etc. And you can have your account in Thingstream. After signing up, so login. Well, on Thingstream, we provide a wide range of services, like communication services, security services, and etc. The focus today is location services. So we go to location services, and as you can see here, you can add a location thing. Well, you have three options. You can add a cloud locate thing or cell locate, assist now thing, or point perfect. Cloud locate is more for cloud positioning, and assist now cell locate are different services that we got in this family. Today our focus is about point perfect. So add a point perfect thing, just decide a name, webinar, I go for PointPerfect Webinar and create. Now you need to select a plan. These plans that you see here are individual plans, so they are only for one devices. But if you want a group of devices or a pool of devices to share the same credentials, you can go to a pooled plan here. I suggest for evaluating the system, you go for the first option here, 60 hours, and the cost is a bit less than $4. Activate, and your device is now activated. Let's go to the credentials and etc. This is my point perfect thing, point perfect webinar. So we have at the first step, we got the details. The device is already activated, and you see that this is the plan. Of course, you can always come here and change your plan. The device ID, this is the ID that your device is going to present itself, authenticate itself to the broker, and subscribe to the topics that we are going to see later on. Activity, for on there is no activity, and credentials. This is actually all the information that you need to have in order to connect your device to the broker. PointPerfect Services Ublox is the host. Client ID, we covered it. This is actually the ID of your device that it authenticates itself to the broker, and you have the client key and client certificates, including the client public key and root certificate, Amazon root certificate here. If you want to evaluate the system using uCenter, all you need to do is to download uCenter configuration. Actually, it's a JSON file including all this information, the keys and certificates and etc. Everything that you need to have to do the configuration of the uCenter and etc. Well, what else we got here? We got dynamic keys. You know, as mentioned, all the communication is encrypted end to end, and we rotate the keys every 28 days. And based on the plan, you have some options here. These are topics that you can subscribe and receive the key, dynamic keys, or the feeds the correction data itself. So the first part is point perfect, and IP or Lband is based on your plan, and finally is the region Europe or US. So today we would like to go for uCenter, so I just download the configuration file and I put it in my downloads. Very good. So today I'm using uCenter 21.09, and this is actually the uCenter version supporting MQTT clients, which supports certificate-based authentication. You need to write to support the team, and we will actually share with you the right version of uCenter. So let's just run it. Very good. First of all, I'm going to give it a cold start so that you can see all the steps from beginning. Well, my device is already connected on COM port 12. I have a Ublox ZF9P receiver, which is I'm using 1.20 as the version number. So yeah, it's connected to my U center, and I'm already receiving good signal quality from the satellites. What I need to do here is go to receiver, and you can see MQTT client. All the correction data is provided using MQTT. So here we need to actually select the configuration file that we have received from Thingstream. Here it is. Topic selector, you got two options, or you can go for European correction data or US. I'm in UK, so I go for European. And you can see that the MQTT is now connected, so it is receiving the correction data. As you can see, every 5 seconds there is a small packet, and every 30 seconds there is a bigger packet which is containing the whole model and etc. Yeah, you can see that I already got the fix, which is very good, but I just want to also show you that if you come here to view messages, going to u-blox and then a Spartan. Yeah, so you can see that these are Spartan messages coming to the module, and they are actually being used. So if you're wondering about these numbers here, 00 should be GPS OCB, and 01 GLONASS OCB, and 10 is GPS high precision correction, and etc. So all these Spartan messages are coming to the module and are being used by the module. And as you can see here, I have already got the fix. So as I mentioned, it's as easy as what you have seen. It should be only matter of 10 minutes or even less to evaluate the service PointPerfect with uCenter. What important things that I would like to show you is about our documentation. So yeah, you can see that the thing that I have created now is connected. This is MQTT client connected to the broker and is receiving the correction date. In terms of documentation, well, we got web-based documentation. One document that we provide is about the service description itself, so very good information about how the service works and etc. About the topics that the client can subscribe, the security mechanism, architecture, and also some very good information about the technical specifications. But we got also a document, separate document called Getting a Started Guide. In this document, you can see all the steps that we have done together. You have seen actually in this demo, starting from signing up to Thingstream, creating an account, then going on with the plan, everything, description of the plan, provisioning of the device, and configuration of the U center. So everything that you have seen is already documented here, and very good information about the keys and etc. So once again, the goal was to demonstrate it's quite easy and straightforward to evaluate PointPerfect. And as mentioned also before, if you have any question, you can communicate to the support team at support@thingstream.io, and we will be more than happy to assist you evaluating and testing the service. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Okay,
All right.
thanks. Yeah, thank you, Patty. Yeah, just one note about the availability of uCenter, because Hamed recorded these a few days ago, but since then uCenter with the MQTT client has been published, so there is a public release which is on our website. So just go to u-blox and follow the download link for uCenter, and you can get the 2109. That was the version that that Hamed has used for his demo and is publicly available. Okay, so this is the final slide before we go into the QA section. So basically, just to recap, PointPerfect brings really a proven GNSS augmentation service to the mass market. And it is really a comprehensive silicon to cloud set of solutions and offering that Ublox has. And we have high precision multi-band GNSS receiver modules and connectivity hardware, and all of them work now seamlessly in combination with the advanced GNSS service that is PointPerfect. And therefore, we provide basically a one-stop shop solution from silicon to cloud. One thing which is very important to keep in mind that all technology building blocks are in-house at Ublox. So we have full control over the hardware. We have full control over our receivers and also our services and everything which we deliver. Therefore, we can lower the external dependencies. We have actually we don't have external dependencies, and we can lower the barriers to responsiveness to any kind of issues that might occur. And finally, since PointPerfect is based on open Spartan format, its use is not restricted to single hardware manufacturer. This way you can have flexibility, and there are different hardware and services selection that can optimize really the overall ROI. And of course, it's very important that our receivers support products. So the ZF9P and the Neo D9S are the products that right now are fully interoperable with PointPerfect. Okay. This was the last slide, so we can go into the QA. There are quite many questions. We probably won't be able to answer all of them, but let's try to do what we can, and then we will follow up in writing with some of you. Okay, so there was email of the presentation. Yes, we will do that. Then there was a question by John that what about cell phone location accuracy? Well, the cell phone location, it is always a bit different than the rover's dedicated high precision solution, because the cell phones are usually not designed for high precision. Therefore, there are system constraints. So it's very difficult to tell what the location accuracy on a cell phone can be, because it has dependencies on the antennas, it has dependency on the type of receiver used, and so on and so forth. So it's really very difficult to give a definite answer to that question. Okay, then there was, I think, one by Johan. It was about different application, and there was, but that's been answered already. Okay. There was another similar question by Joy that has left anyway, but just to answer, can PointPerfect be used to provide correction data for mobile apps to improve the accuracy of mobile application? As I just replied earlier, yes, in theory you can send the correction data also to a mobile phone. However, the accuracy cannot be guaranteed, because it depends a lot on the type of receiver and on the mobile phones and the antenna and so forth. Okay, let's scroll down. This is interesting by Alan. When will Ublox have a single chip solution for use of PointPerfect? No need for the D9S. That's a very good question. I think we'll follow back on writing on that one, because I need to have the support from my colleagues into positioning. So I don't have a definite answer for that, but I'll have somebody replying to you. One from Andre, are there plans for South America, particularly Brazil coverage? Yes, we have plans to expand the service in different regions. As I mentioned, we just signed an MOU with SoftBank for Japan. We're working also to extend the service. South America has been taken into consideration, but we still don't have like definitive plans. But yes, it's under consideration, of course. Slides available. Okay. Okay, these have left. These are left. Those have left. We can follow up in writing. I prefer to answer the question of those who are still. Can you share some of your reference customer? That was came from John. Yes, we can. We will do that in a follow-up email. Is PointPerfect over Lband currently available? Yes, it is available for US and Europe. Yes, it is available. Another question about South America. The correction for South America, as I said, is something we are considering, the different countries there. And definitely some of them have a high priority, like maybe Brazil. But if you have more specific on which countries you'll be interested in, Maria, please let us know. Yeah, then there was one from Ricardo, very interesting. In theory, PointPerfect is available also for different hardware providers, but most of the devices already in the field do not support Spartan, only RTCM. Is there a library to convert Spartan to RTCM? Yes, there is a library to convert to Spartan RTCM on the host, and we call it the PointPerfect SDK, and that is available. So feel free to contact us, Ricardo, our support at Thingstream.io, and you can get access to that. What other hardware manufacturer supports Spartan protocol? That's another question by Nicholas. We are in discussions with other hardware manufacturers that intend to implement Spartan. At the moment, I think there is no direct receivers, but a couple of them are starting to work into implementing that. But names are not available yet. Will PointPerfect support the A series of u-blox as well? David, yes, I think so. I believe so. That's what I would say the question should be in reverse. Will the A series support PointPerfect? And I suppose so, but I can get back to you. I can have somebody from positioning get back to you. Is the D9S module required to get PointPerfect correction to the ZF9P by David? Not if you use the IP delivery method, but if you use the Lband, yes, the D9S then is necessary to receive the Lband signal from the Inmarsat. By Nicholas, what SLA KPI are supplied by u-blox for the security of the service? I think we need to define a bit more from the security standpoint. Perhaps you are referring to integrity. I can follow up with you about this so we can clarify a bit your question, because I'm not so sure I understand what you mean by security is such a large term that I'll follow up with you. Do you provide corrections to the Galileo or only for GPS and GLONASS? Yes, Galileo, both band E1 and E5 are supported in Spartan 2.0, so they are supported by PointPerfect. By Raymond, are there any functional safety consideration in PointPerfect? Yes, we are working not specifically for functional safety directly, but for integrity. So the ability to provide integrity messages from PointPerfect to support functional safe applications. is not directly functional safe, but it will support functional safety application. Is there a way to increase precision without an internet connection? Can you synchronize two wired together antennas to increase accuracy when in the middle of nowhere? By Johan. Johan, I'm not sure I understand the question well. We'll follow up with you on writing. One by Dimitri, what about service coverage for Australia? It's a very good question. We're already working with local partners to get access to the reference data. So Australia is actually in our radar, and it's probably we're going to have already a test service for Australia very soon. So Dimitri, if you're interested, please feel free to contact us and we can discuss a bit more. Let's see. Still a couple of minutes. Yes, Patty, I can continue.
Yes, we have 4 minutes.
There was one from Felipe Silva. Do you guys use IGS real-time product for PointPerfect, or you compute your own product? I believe that we compute all our own products. When is ZF9P firmware expected to be updated directly? Okay, so when is the F9P firmware expected to be updated directly accept Lband corrections from Neo D9S? I'm not so sure I directly accept Lband corrections from Neo D9S. I believe this is currently the case. So the D9S will receive the Lband corrections and feed them into the ZF9P. So Charles, I'm not sure what the question is. So please clarify that. We'll get back to you to clarify exactly what were you asking. One from Bruce, any plans for China? Yes, there are plans to expand in China using a similar approach that we're using for Japan, so to work with local partners. One by Giri or Giri, sorry if I did not spell your name correctly. Do you have any performance results that you can share? Yes, we do have some performance results we can share. We'll share with you on a follow-up. Okay. There was one about Dmitry again about the Lband redundancy. I don't remember the details right now about the Lband beams to cover different regions. So we'll get back to you on a follow-up. Nicholas was asking about integrity. Yes, so it's integrity. So as I was saying, yes, we intend to provide integrity messages for the correction service. Yes, that's correct. And then one about any plan to apply service in Egypt or North Africa in general. At the moment, actually, that's a region we have not really made any concrete plans for, but please let us know what. Okay, Egypt is one of the countries, but is there any other? Is it the all North African region that you're interested in? Please contact us so that we can understand a little bit what will be the requirements there, and then we can consider. Since your service is self-served, this was Paul, how do you identify units in the fleet? Well, each unit has its own client credentials. So we identify them by those credentials, which are required every time that the device connects to receive the service. Another question by Nicholas, and was understand the correction is computed in the cloud. Yes, that's correct. Any plan to have embedded computation or correction on chip? That's an interesting question. I think that at least the extent of generating something similar to Spartan probably is too much for a single embedded solution. then I would have to ask to my colleagues who are expert on the hardware to get a better answer to that. But in general, I think that the resources needed to calculate actually the augmentation service are pretty demanding. So I don't think that it would be easy to do that on an embedded system. Okay, I think
Franco,
we're out of time.
we are out of time, so we will follow up on the unanswered questions. I thank you for your attention. At the end of the webinar, we will launch a quick, short survey, just a few questions to learn more about your market. So would appreciate if you would respond to the survey.
Yes, thank you very much. It was very nice to have all of you, and thank you for all the questions and for the interest. Goodbye.
Thank you.